You're fine. Hey everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to
The Drunken Library.
Today we are doing our September and October wrap-up because we haven't posted a video because we're the worst at YouTube.
Yeah. Also, because
I moved.
Yeah.
Amber started
In
a
here,
job.
I started.
Now we live in the same house, so we can hopefully post like
all the time.
And then we're gonna draw for our November TBR jar because we didn't in September for October because of the aforementioned shit that was going on. So that's what's going on today.
Stuff.
All right. So I read a whole bunch of shit in the last 2 months.
And I didn't.
It's okay. I was making up for like the couple months previous, and I was like, I finished one.
Yeah, that was me also in the last couple months. I just sucked
I just
this
almost
year.
stuck the straw up my nose.
I've done that. I also stabbed my lip so hard with a straw once that I sliced it open, was bleeding profusely.
Sexy.
From my face.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I guess, you had how many do you have?
4.
Okay. So I'll do a couple, and then you do...
I'm going to do half and half, and then half and half, and then my phone will go off.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. And your phone will go.
Yeah.
All right. So I played some TBR jar catch-up in the last 2 months. I have this stack of things that were in our TBR jar that I finally read. So I finished American Gods. This is the second time I've read it. I still really like it. It's real slow moving.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
I don't know if it's necessarily the best first Neil Gaiman, which is a little bit sad.
Oops.
But just because like it gets really, really active toward the end, but the first like 3/4 of it move very slowly, and so you can read it kind of a little at a time. It's like Maeve Binchy though. You just kind of have to like...
The thing is, it's not even not enjoyable. I appreciate his writing. I'm not like, oh my god, I need to keep reading.
No, it's small, meaty bits. I also reread Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I love this book. I didn't have my copy forever and ever because Amber had it, and now she has a copy. It's exciting. Not that it matters anymore because all of our books share a bedroom. So, and then I read Jane Eyre, Charlotte Bronte. I finally read it. There will be a video.
Yep.
And we will be real drunk.
I don't know if I can read it again.
Don't. You read it. I didn't finish it last time.
Yeah.
So, but I finished that. I have a lot of feelings. Amber has a lot of feelings. It's going to be a video.
Yeah, I do want to read it again eventually, but it's too soon from the last time.
Yeah, it's only been like 2 years.
Yeah,
so.
and I
2 years for a lot of classics can be a short span. Like, some classics, like, I can read Wuthering Heights, like, every year, sometimes more than one. Like, I love that book. You could read that. You could do that with, like, Pride and Prejudice. I can do that with, like, Lord of the Flies if I wanted to reread it, you know? It's like a modern classic. Like, there are some that you can read, or that read well.
Yep.
There are some that just, like, we need some time apart. That's one of those.
And I feel bad, because people that I really love this book, but I just can't get behind it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then I read Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This was our book of 500 plus pages. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as probably some people do. But I did like it. I think I gave it 4 stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot for you.
It is kind of a lot for me, so. But I also feel like I've been, like, swaying in the wrong direction in the, like, lower star level direction for some books. Like the fucking Mortal Instruments books and stuff, which I've been just kind of like, oh, it's 3. It's probably closer to 2.5, but it's not like 2-star necessarily, so I've been rounding up. So I felt like giving this like 3 stars would have been very, very unfair to it because it was much closer to 4 than it was to 3.
Right.
But I tend to round down with my star ratings in general because...
You're very, very, very
I'm an asshole. Yeah.
with your stars.
Well, like, if I give everything 5 stars, it's like, what do I gauge the things that I really love by?
Yeah. I'm less conservative with my stars on Goodreads. I'm just like, I really like this. Whatever, fuck it. That's just kind of how I roll.
And then I read Snakes and Earrings by Hitomi Kanehara. This book was some shit, and we need to make a video about it because we've both read it. Amber Buddy read it with Jess at Rebel Reads. I read it because they both pressured me
Yeah, we did.
Amber even bought me a copy. She was
did.
like, here, read it.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, you could read mine, but here's your own copy.
Oh, and I prefer paperbacks, and this is the paperback, so.
Yep.
And Amber's is the hardcover, but this fucking book was some
Something.
shit, dude. And then I read Slaughterhouse-Five or The Children's Crusade by Kurt Vonnegut.
It was one of those, like, international other title things.
No, there's a reason in the book that's
Oh.
a thing. You have to read it. I love this book. I love Kurt Vonnegut, but I love this book. This is probably my favorite of his books that I've read.
I've wanted to read it.
This is the first time I've read it. It's great. I gave this one 5.
Damn.
So,
So I gotta read it.
read it. It's very sci-fi-y, and you wouldn't necessarily expect it to be.
Okay.
Because it's like a war story, but it also goes like, there's aliens. It's real weird, but it's great. It's so good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got
Okay.
for this half. Whatever. I had like a lot of
She has
books.
a lot. I don't have a lot. I don't. Even a little. Okay, so the first one that I finished is the only one I read in September, which I don't have a copy of because I got it from the library, but it is the Doctor Who, the 11th Doctor Archives Omnibus Volume 1. And it's a comic series, and I really enjoyed it. The stories were a lot of fun. It's just like standalone episode stories that I guess make more sense if you've read the show.
Read the show.
Read the show.
Yeah,
I-
that's a thing.
I've had some vodka.
I know. I'm here. I witnessed it happen. I mixed her drinks a little.
And then I
No,
added-
that's
anyway,
like
yeah.
that's like that Dr. Horrible comic I read
Mhm.
a few months back or whatever. It was really good anyway, but it makes way more sense if you've seen Dr. Horrible.
Okay, right on. Yeah, so that's a thing. And then I think technically the next thing that I read
I also read this. It's in mine as well.
is Walter the Farting Dog. I'm just gonna right in front of our faces, right?
We don't need
Yeah.
faces. Whatever.
So Sam saw this and she got it for me because
It's called
about
Walter the Farting Dog. How could I not? And she collects kids' books. So.
Yeah. I think collectively somehow we needed it, but I collect kids' books because I think they're awesome and I think they're important. And it's about a dog that farts all the time.
Yeah, it's fucking glorious.
So-
It was so adorable.
Obviously, the first thing she thought it was me.
It was probably, as far as like story goes, it was like almost on par with This Is Not My Hat for silliness and fun.
For silliness and fun, although I don't know if I'll ever love anything.
No,
as much
This
as
Is Not My Hat is like the kids' book. I
really
loved
is.
the book with no pictures.
Yeah,
That one's pretty close to tied with This Is Not My Hat for
I
me.
believe that. I haven't read it yet, but I've
Because
heard
it's fucking spectacularly funny. But we need to get a copy of that. I bought it
Yeah.
for a friend for like a baby shower, and like it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But This Is Not My Hat is book with no pictures is good if you read it out loud,
Okay, right on.
because that's what it's meant for.
Right.
This Is Not My Hat is just fucking perfect. Walter the Farting Dog is like next tier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's cute, but it's also like real sad. It's got like all the feels of an adult novel in like
In like
20 pages.
yeah, it's like this much book. It's so tiny, but it's really good. And if you see it, especially if you have kids, highly recommend.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Okay, is that your?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Next, I have some that I don't have physical copies of. I want to say them before I forget what they are.
I'm trying to find you on here.
We're good. I think I remember
You
them,
good?
but just in case,
Yeah.
maybe find me anyway. We have to find my group because I got 2 from the library. I read Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan, who wrote Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I want to read all of the things they've co-written. Now it's up to 4 books because Dash and Lily's Book of Dares has a sequel, which I saw at Barnes & Noble the other day, but I didn't buy because I don't have the first one.
Oh yeah.
But I've only not read like one of their teen couples. But I love them, and I don't love young adult fiction.
Yeah. So that's praise.
But like Nick and Nora, I read in high school and like became obsessed with it because I was Nora. I am Nora.
yeah. Yeah.
You're kind of Lily, by the way, from
Okay.
this book. It's
So
pretty
I should
great.
read
You
it?
should read it.
Now I need to know how I'm being compared.
It's great. It's a good thing. But it was really, really good. I loved it. I love those two together. I love them. And then I read City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare because I am in the process of getting through the Infernal Devices and Mortal Instruments series because I started them and I have to finish them and we've been over this. It's fine. 3 stars across the board. That's like the most I've given anything from that series, but it's like, whatever, fine. Get out of my face. But I read that. It happened. It's at least starting to get like slightly more interesting. There's like
That's something at least.
stuff going on now.
Right
on. It feels less generic than it did at the beginning. I do think that I agree with BookTube as a whole that I prefer Infernal Devices to Mortal Instruments, which are the ones that take place in like Victorian London.
So that's
It's
the
the
one.
prequel series.
Okay.
I've only read one of those, but the next one I'm supposed to read is in that series, so I'll let you know, because that's only a trilogy, so.
Okay.
And then I listened to an audiobook of Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, narrated by Tim Curry, because I love him.
What?
I know. But that book was not what I expected, and I mean that in a good way.
Right on.
Like, you think it's like a kid's book, kind of, but it sort of makes fun of children a lot.
Okay.
It, like, talks about how terrible of humans they are, which is kind of true.
Right on.
And it's, like, very snarky and self-deprecating, and I think Tim Curry was exactly the right narrator choice for it.
I kind of want to listen to that now.
Well, I mean, we can log you into my Audible.
That's true.
But yeah, so, and then I'll do the rest of them, because the rest of them are all part of a series, so it's not weird. I read books 3 through 8 of the series of Unfortunate Events, because I'm working my way through this now. So we've got The Wide Window, The Miserable Mill, The Austere Academy, The Airsets Elevator, The Vile Village, and The Hostile Hospital. So yeah, books 3 through 8. I'm working my way through what I've already read. I'm rereading it, and then I'm going to read the last 3 in the series, because this is probably like my favorite series as a child. I loved it before I loved Harry Potter, and it's exactly what you'd expect me to read, because it's just like fucking creepy and weird. And so I'm just kind of burning through them pretty quick. Just got a tattoo of this, like, from this series, so I've been in a mood.
Keep an eye out for
Got a video about that coming up. But yeah, so yeah, that's my 16 books I read in the last 2 months. 16. Yep. And then Amber's got a couple more.
I've got a couple more for a grand total of 4, because I'm real impressive. So I finished Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, which Sam also read, obviously. We picked it. We assigned it to our 500 plus pages from our TBR jar. I read this last year. I really liked it. It's exactly the kind of thing that I would like. It's timey-wimey stuff. It has to do with somebody from the present-ish, but it's like the 40s.
Yeah, but it's like modern woman.
Yeah, being
going
sent to
like the past.
1743 Scotland, so it's modern.
So it's like
the 40s or
right.
Modern.
Well, and it's like, okay, so it's
Post
time
World
travel.
War II.
Time travel turns to historical fiction, and it's Celtic,
and it's romance.
and it's romance.
But
like,
like
it's
Celtic and time travel.
It's
and
all
time.
the kind of stuff that she would read.
It's literally it's all of the stuff that
I'm pretty sure that Diana Gabaldon wrote this with you in mind, and I think you were like 2 when this came out. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, clearly she was just like, hey, that one chick that's in Wisconsin, I think she'd really like this someday, so I'm gonna write it.
Yeah, that's what happened. Well, you bought the rest of what's presently out in the series.
I bought the rest of the series after reading this one book.
That's a commitment.
That's just what I do. I read one Maeve Binchy book, and I was like, I need all of them, and now I have like 15.
And you've still only read like 3.
I've only read 3.
I mean, they've all been good, right?
They've all
like,
been
I've
good.
only read the 1, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I gave it 4 stars, and I don't give things high star ratings, as previously discussed.
You should read the one that I read first.
Circle of Friends.
Circle of Friends.
James has it right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I want to read that again, because it's so fucking good. Anyway, so I read that. That's a thing, and it's good, and I like it.
Oh boy, this is about to be a moment.
Okay. I finally, after 2 years...
Was it 2? I thought we were going to read it last year for October.
I started reading this in 2014. In like June or July of 2014.
Gross.
I hated it. I hate it so much. And it's... Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories by Washington Irving.
She bought me a Washington Irving that was Sleepy Hollow and Rip Van Winkle, and I started it and was just like, nah.
Yeah, I read it. There's many other things in here, and they're bullshit. There's one other story. Okay, Rip Van Winkle was interesting. And
interesting, but still fucking stupid because it's Washington Irving.
It's stupid because it's Washington Irving. The only reason I liked it is because it reminded me of a story that is very similar that was in like an ancient Japanese folktale collection book that I read. And it was more interesting when it was the Japanese version, but it was essentially almost the exact same fucking thing.
It kind of reminds me of that story where royalty's a dick.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah, there's one where a dude, like, it's almost the same. He lives in a coastal town, but instead of falling asleep, he saves this turtle, and then it's a princess who lives underwater.
Well, sure.
And she's like, hey, like, because you saved me, you should get on my back. And then she, like, takes him down under the ocean, and then they get married.
I feel like I've read something like that.
He's there for 3 days, but it's actually 300 years. And he's like, oh, I miss my wife and my kids and my town and stuff. And then...
I feel like I've read something like that. It might have been that.
The Rip Van Winkle is almost the same, except for he falls asleep instead of going to an underwater.
No, you know what? It was one of the things in the Irish...
Oh.
There was something in the Irish, in Over 9 Waves, that had a similar...
Probably.
Thing. It was like somebody went off to like some promised land or something or another, and they stayed there, and they thought they weren't there for that long, but they were actually there for like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was a thing.
That's a common thing in like old stories.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then this dude, he's in the Japanese one, and then he comes back, and then it's like 300 years later, and the town is all different. And it's almost the same, except that in Rip Van Winkle, the dude falls asleep. And in the Japanese one, he goes to this underwater town, and then he opens this box, and then... Or when he comes back, he's, like, not supposed to open this box, and then he does, and he ages all of the time that he's been gone. The Japanese version is cooler, but I still like the Rip Van Winkle-ish. But Washington Irving is not just... Okay, when you read old American fiction, you expect the old white dudes to be misogynistic and racist. You expect that. That is a thing. They're a product of their time, and you take everything you read by them with a grain of salt. That said, he is really, really racist. He is really misogynistic. And on top of that, he looks down on everybody. Not just women and people that aren't white, but everybody. He's just like, oh yeah, and for people who probably don't understand because they're not as educated as I am, because
Well, and it's just like, it's not even well written.
It's not well written.
It's not pretty.
Pretty.
It doesn't grab your attention. There's nothing really redeeming about it. That's why when I started Sleepy Hollow, and it was only the 2 stories, so it wasn't one of those things that's like, oh, I started it and I have to finish it. Like, I didn't have that feeling like I normally do with things.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, no, I don't like this. I'm done. Yeah. And I just stopped.
See, I hated it. But the thing is, at the time, I didn't know that I could take things off of my currently reading list on Goodreads. So I thought in order to get it off of there, I thought I had to finish the book. Mm-hmm. So I got like 3/4 of the way through before I learned that. I was like, well, no, now at this point I have to finish it because I'm already this far through it. And why the fuck else would I read this much of it without actually finishing the stupid fucking thing?
So she powered through and she did it, and it's done.
It's so bad.
She gave it 1 star. And Amber's generous usually. Jar. We need a TBR jar pick for November. There's 4 left in here because we've missed 2 months now.
Oh yeah!
I'm so excited for this. It's the right time of year.
Yeah.
Fall feels nostalgic to me, so
Yep.
It feels like a good time to do this. It's read a book and watch the adaptation, and we want to do the Neverending Story because we haven't done a video about the Neverending Story yet, and we both love it. I didn't even really know it was a book until I met Amber.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a book until I met my friend Red.
And I wasn't nuts about the movie as a kid. So I never really cared.
I love the movie as a kid.
But I've been seeing a bunch of stuff with like Falcon and the Luck Dragon on it lately.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, oh, I want to reread it. And now that I don't have a fucking stupid copy. So we're going to do that. We're going to read the Neverending Story and then we're going to watch We
the
probably have to
adaptation.
watch both movies
Yeah.
because
It's the whole story.
it's the whole story. And then we're going to do a video comparing them.
We're probably
and I
gonna
feel like
re-
we'll get to that way quicker than we get to any of our other TBR
Yeah.
videos because it's going to be great.
Also, we're gonna get real drunk in the movies because they're really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting hammered. And we live together now, so we can watch them whenever the fuck we want.
Yeah, we might just film it right after watching the movies while we get hammered.
Yeah, it'll be great.
It'll be awesome.
But so look forward to that. So that was our September, October wrap up and our TBR
November
for
PBR.
November.
PBR.
PBR. No. But
Oh,
yeah,
yay, shitty Wisconsin beer.
have a great day, everybody.
Bye.